Texter says only ESPN pushed the ACC's importance, just proves the ACC's weakness to dissolve the conference. Texter, here is the linchpin in the entire thing, and it is ESPN. They are public enemy number one. And Clemson fans may not realize this, especially those of you who will turn on ESPN on your TV sets tonight. You may not realize this at all. Okay, at all, you may not realize this. But here is the reality of the situation. Because of the deal Swofford signed with ESPN, the ACC and its member institutions are going to get $30 million less per year than Big Ten and SEC schools beginning in 2026. So seeing this ahead of time, Florida State's athletic director, Graham Neff, they are proactively, which is what smart athletic directors do, trying to avoid being at that massive disadvantage in 2026. What do? How do we get out of this? Let's explore every single option that we have.
Where is ESPN realizing that they are this close to losing a whole flock of cash cows? That they will go somewhere else. They could go to the Big Ten. In the Big Ten with Fox, who is their media rights partner?
Correct.
So
CBS.
they could CBS. They could be losing a ton of big name programs to CBS. They could be losing programs to the SEC. They could be losing programs to independents. They could be losing this block of 7-8 schools to Amazon. You know, who knows if Amazon chooses to get involved, and if these 8 schools break away, these are the bell cows of the ACC of football. What if some other major partner like that made a big play to broadcast those games, and then you lose them entirely? I'm shocked that ESPN is not willing to proactively step to the table and say, hey, we really don't want to lose you. We understand that you're disgruntled. We understand that you want out. We understand why. So we're going to try to make this up to you. We're going to try to fix this to keep you happy and keep you under the ESPN umbrella.
Well, Diesel, here's exactly why they're not. Because ESPN is bleeding money right now. I'm not going to say they don't have coffers that run very deeply. They save all the coffers for live sports because that is the bell cow. But you may or may not have heard that ESPN is going to have another massive round of layoffs coming up. Okay? ESPN right now is in penny pinching mode. Why? They're in penny pinching mode because more people have cut the cord and therefore avoided paying for ESPN in the last year than in the last 20 years combined, than in the previous 20 years combined. So ESPN, when they do their projections, here's what we're going to make in 2024 and 2025 and 2026, they so badly miscalculated where they were going to be and how many people would be cutting the cord that they're now doing the same thing your body does when there's a serious injury, Diesel. Your body saves all your blood for your vital organs, your brain, your digestion, your heart, right? It saves all the blood for the vital organs.
Well, here's what they do is they fire all those expensive woke shows they put on in the middle of the afternoon, right, and you save a tremendous amount on salaries and production costs.
Here's what sucks that they've done. They've stopped putting any resources into ESPN Radio. ESPN Radio, Diesel, you know this as well as I do. You know, we are a station that switched from ESPN to CBS a year ago. Now, why did we do that? We were Odyssey before that. We had a name change to Odyssey, but it was the same company. We were allowed to be ESPN Upstate for a long time, previous name of the station, under the ESPN banner. What changed? Well, the corporate office management realized that the ESPN radio brand didn't carry the cachet that it used to. And because Odyssey owns CBS Sports Radio, they want all the sports stations to fly under the same flag. It's amazing. I still have morons say to me, your show stinks so bad that you guys got kicked off of ESPN. I mean, like, people actually believe that nonsense. Like, we got kicked off of ESPN.
Well, people believe the earth is flat, but they've never been able to find the edge.
Right.
The world needs ditch diggers too, Mark.
Yeah, they do.
Dum-dums everywhere.
So, guys, there is the reason. Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina State, Virginia Tech, Miami, they want out of the ACC because they don't have the money. ESPN is saying, we have a contract that runs till 2036, and we're bleeding money. Unless ESPN says, we're going broke, we can't afford this contract anymore, we're going to let all of you out. And I don't see that happening either because they have them for 10 cents on the dollar right now. Then ESPN has no incentive to renegotiate said deal because you, me, everybody else is cutting the cord on paying for cable packages. Why are we cutting the cord? Because you realized your cable bill was $140 a month and YouTube TV, which I'm now a subscriber of, is $70 a month. Why is there that difference? Why is there that difference? I'm giving you guys knowledge that you may not know. Do you know that ESPN is the only channel on your cable packages, the only channel that you pay $1 or more per month for? The cost for ESPN is about $1.30 a month. 75% of Americans don't watch ESPN. So 75% of Americans are looking at their bill and looking at the appropriation and saying, wait a minute, I'm paying $1.30 a month for something we don't watch. Then they start looking at other channels. This channel costs 30 cents. This channel costs 80 cents. I don't watch any of these channels. Why am I paying for channels that I'm not watching? That the cable company could just lump it all together, not show you what you're paying for, right? And for 30, 40, 50 years, people paid that. But we wisened up. We said, wait a minute, 75% of us aren't watching ESPN. So we're cutting the cord. We're not paying that. Therefore, ESPN is getting bent over. Therefore, ESPN is laying off people, is really hurting their ESPN radio product in the process. And therefore, ESPN has zero motivation whatsoever to renegotiate the grant of rights with the ACC. This one hand feeds the other, ladies and gentlemen. One hand feeds the other. It is all connected. Your decision to not pay for cable anymore is indirectly affecting Clemson now, right? Because ESPN is hemorrhaging and they don't want to renegotiate anything. And so it's hurting your school. Do I blame you? No. I've done the same thing.